Hey there, all my GRRR travelers, welcome back. Now, as I've been putting out these videos, I've been noticing there's a fair amount of you who are already in the process of planning your trip to India, and some of you are feeling very overwhelmed because you don't know where to begin researching where to go, and you have your own questions. So today I'm going to dive into the question or the topic of trip planning tips for India, as well as answer some of the questions that you had for me when I did a shout out on my Facebook page. Before I get into that though, I want to do a quick reminder that if you're new to my channel, then please subscribe. Right next to the subscribe button, there's a little bell icon, and this is also for those of you who are subscribed. Tap on that little bell icon and you'll be letting YouTube know that you want to get my videos in your inbox. Send you a direct email letting you know whenever I post my videos. If you like my videos, if you enjoy them, find them helpful, then please, you know what to do. Also share my videos with like your travel community, with friends who are traveling, or people who you know who might be on the fence about solo travel. Let more people know so that we can grow this GRRR community. I also noticed that I have some Indian viewers out there who have been awesome in leaving comments and helping other travelers out with their questions. This is how we all learn as travelers, it's all word of mouth and through other people's experiences that we actually feel like we have more insight into things. With no further ado, let's get down to it. It's going to be a slightly different format from the way I normally do my tip videos. I'm just going to talk through some of this. Just to let you know, I do have my How I Traveled India playlist on my channel. Check out that playlist for things that I've already covered, like trains, how to take, get the foreign tourist quota. I've covered kind of a lot, how to get your SIM card. I have two videos in that playlist. One is the top 5 travel tips for India. The other one is top 5 travel survival tips for Indian culture. Now the second one, I get hate mail and whatnot because a lot of people misinterpret what I'm saying in that video and they think that I'm being very negative on India, and it's actually quite the opposite. The 5 things that I share are common things or observations you'll find travelers have, or their concerns with India when they travel it. I'm tackling those common things and I'm kind of like flipping it around and showing you a different way of looking at it so you can ease into India. I get a lot of Indians really upset with what I've said or how honest I've been about conveying or communicating these general things that other people and myself have experienced going to India. I've had a love affair with India for over a decade. It started with my interest in yoga and spirituality, meditation. From there I got really intensely into Bollywood films. I feel like I'm constantly watching Bollywood films whenever they come out or when I can get them. All of this stuff just inspired me to travel India and to try and get deeper into it, to understand the culture a little bit more. The first thing that is like on the very forefront of everyone's mind when planning a trip to India is where to go. Like, what's the best sightseeing route? The second way to plan your trip is according to interest or theme. If you're interested in something like spirituality and you want to visit ashrams, or you want to go to meditation places, or different temples, temple hop. A lot of Westerners love to come to India because they think of the yogic experience, and yoga is completely different in India than the way it's practiced in the West. Maybe you want to focus on festivals because India celebrates festivals in a grand way, like very colorful and big. What a lot of people don't know is that there are certain cities that celebrate some of these festivals in a larger way than others do. For me, like visiting Varanasi for Diwali was a big thing. It was a bucket list. And then in the future, Durga Puja would be best celebrated for me in Kolkata. Number 1 top favorite route that you'll find with a lot of tour agents and new travelers happens to be the Golden Triangle, and that is from Delhi to Agra to Rajasthan area, which is Jaipur normally. So you're creating like this triangle and you're hitting like these palatial areas. The first time that I came into India, I did the Golden Triangle route, but I also added on like a Rajasthan route, which is the number 2 route that I'll mention to you. I went from Jaipur down to Bikaner to Jaisalmer and then Jodhpur. You could do a different route. Rajasthan is mostly known for its Rajput royalty, as well as its desert-like area or region. The third route is what I did my second trip. where I also wanted to experience like an ashram, like a yoga ashram, as well as take my yoga teacher certification program. I came in from the western coast and flew into Mumbai, went down the coast to Goa, and from there hit Karnataka, which is like Hampi and Gokarna. From there, I hit number 4, which is like the Kerala area. And there's a lot of backwater river tours with houseboats. It's a beautiful area, and you'll hit Fort Cochin, Alapi. And from there I went down to Trivandrum, which is where I had my Shivananda Yoga Ashram experience. It was a really great experience. From there I went down to Kanyakumari, which is like the southern tip of India. And whenever you make your route, you kind of want to make it in a convenient way versus like jumping all around. With that trip, I also shot up to Madurai, where the architecture, the temple architecture changes. It's a lot more colorful and bright and a little more intricate in some ways. The northern areas just generally tend to feel like they have more influences from their neighboring country, like Nepal, Tibet, Bhutan. You'll see the faces, the ethnicities change, kind of like mine. I blend up there a little bit more. From there, I jumped up to do my yoga teacher certification. Experienced Dharamshala, where it's the home of the Dalai Lama. I went to Amritsar, and that's where it's very Sikh, Punjabi state, and they have the Golden Temple there, as well as the Wagah border. I would say even further up north, there's the Ladakh and Leh. The landscape changes again just into this very surreal mix of desert and ice, and just like, for me, it was heaven on earth. Usually you can kind of like create a route, but also start throwing in your own interests and kind of doing a mix up there. Louise asks, what sites can you go to for a rough idea of where to go? Check out the tour agency websites, because they will list their itinerary, and from there you can kind of like pick and choose. You can get an idea of what are top destinations for people to go to, why people like going there, or what kind of experiences they can have, and from there you can like mix and match your route. I also like to look at travel blogs. For more in-depth information, I might go to indiamike.com, and that's a good India travel forum. It's a very good one. I've used it for years now, because you'll get, you know, locals answering questions that you might have about your itinerary. You know, these days there's also like travel groups on Facebook, or India travel Facebook groups. I'd say TripAdvisor offers a lot of good information if you're researching hotels. Like Louise seems like she wants to wing some of her travels and she doesn't want to lock it in stone. One good tip I talk about in my my Why You Should Splurge on Tours video is to work with travel agents more. Actually, they are a godsend, and that's how I wing a lot of my travels. Definitely look at even taking day tours. Working with the travel agents. There's only so much research you can do on your own, and if you're going to be researching it all while you're traveling, you're going to be losing a lot of precious and valuable time on the internet versus like out on the road experiencing things. Erin asks, how much do you spend per day on food and transportation, and how much is accommodation, like hostel or hotel? Okay, so Erin, thank you for asking the question. It really depends on your budget. I know people always ask like, how much does it cost? And it's like, well, it depends on what kind of spender you are or what kind of vacation you're taking. There are vacation travelers, and usually they take anywhere from 3 days to 2 weeks. Those travelers usually want to splurge just a little bit more so that they have a good experience of the place and, feel safe and whatnot. If you are a long-term traveler, a nomadic traveler, a round-the-world trip traveler, then you're gonna want to watch your budget a little bit more. I would be in that category because when I was traveling India this last trip, I was also adding on different countries, and that meant flights here and visas there, and I needed my dollar to stretch longer through several months. So for me, going through India, I would say my average was anywhere from $25 to $35. That's kind of like where I kind of like had my average per day. When I stayed at guest houses, hotels, my average was roughly around 900 rupees, which is around $14 or $15 a night. You can definitely upgrade if you do like a mid-range to budget hotel. You might pay, I'd say, like around $20 to $30, somewhere around there, plus or minus. And you'll get a decent mid-range budget hotel. Obviously anything higher is going to be like, you know, like more luxury or more hotel. Know that hotels will often have a tax or a tariff. Luxury hotels will have a luxury tax. You're comparing a trip, a 2-week trip to Europe or France, say. You might pay $3,000 for that trip. If you're traveling through India, $3,000 might get you through 2 months. And that's not counting flights either. So that's kind of like the big difference right there. Street food roughly runs you around 10 to 60 rupees, and that's like literally under $1. If you're going to restaurants, they'll probably range around 150 rupees a dish. Depends on the restaurant you go to also. You know, like if you're doing intercity travel through like auto taxi or auto rickshaw as well as rickshaw, then I would say you're probably paying anywhere from like roughly around 70 rupees. That's how I would ballpark it, going from site to site, unless the sites are like really spread apart. If they're starting to quote you like 150 rupees, which is roughly around $2.50 or $2, then usually I've paid that for going to the airport. I want to say flights ballpark roughly around, say, $60 and up. Usually under 200. But if you are traveling during festival season, then expect those prices to inflate. Same thing with trains. Trains I pay maybe around, I want to say anywhere from $15 to $35, and that's just for like a third class train, maybe even second. First class, I'm not sure. I've never actually tried those trains. Attractions can range depending on where you go. But I want to say that a lot of attractions I would ballpark for around 200 rupees. So in the end, I'm roughly paying, or I'm budgeting for around $20 to $35 a day. That's fairly inexpensive, but for me, stretched over like either a month period or a 3-month period, and that's not even adding in flights. That can add up. So unfortunately this video was getting a little long, and I don't like my videos to drag on very long. So what I'm gonna do is chop it up and create another video on trip planning tips for India, answering your questions. So leave them down in the comment section below. I'll also do another shout out on Facebook, so you can leave your questions there as well. So until then, travel safe, smart, and fun. I will see you in India. May the GRRR be with you.